So today we're going to be talking about reverse engineering your competition. I wanted to do a webinar on this because it's like one of the most common things I get asked. Everyone wants to know like what niche they should go into, and people are always asking me like, what are the most profitable niches, and what niches should I go into, which one should I stay away from. So I wanted to do a webinar that mainly focuses on that. And feel free to, use this as a session to learn some things. If you have questions or things that you just, haven't understood up until this point, feel free to ask questions. I like to be interactive on these. So let me put this over to the screen here. Do you guys see on the screen, I've got HVAC search here, and it should be a 7-pack popped up. Okay, cool. So I like to do this little poll here before we get started. And those of you who have been on these webinars before probably already know the answer to it, but I see a lot of new faces on the screen, a lot of new names. So I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page before we get going. This webinar is going to be all about the Google Local 7-Pack. Those of you who have been on these before know that that's my main business model that I like to talk about because it's just really profitable for me. Speaking of profitable, quick income disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about numbers that I've done and students of mine have done. And I'm by no means suggesting that you're going to do the exact same thing or anything at all, because I don't know you, I don't know your experience, and I don't know if you're going to put in the work. But anyways, just that quick income disclaimer for you. I'm not guaranteeing anything. So as far as this goes, though, I focus on the 7-pack because that's just what's been great for me and my students. We typically see it's a lot easier to rank in these 7-packs. And when I say 7-pack, I'm talking about these map markers where it says A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We typically see it's a lot easier to rank. There's a lot less competition for them. I've been doing it for 4 years full time now, and there's just been like no saturation at all, which is crazy. You'd think in the past 4 years that there'd be saturation by now. But nope, it's just a wide open market, and I think you'll come to see that as we're reverse engineering the competitors here. That's just pretty crazy. Okay, David says he hasn't been on one of my webinars before. Okay, cool. So let me ask you this question then, and this goes to all of you guys. If you were looking for a heating and air conditioning contractor, that's what HVAC stands for, and you popped into Google and you typed in HVAC in the Google search, just like I did, which one of these listings, kind of jumps out at you? You can just put the map marker letter in, A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. So if it were you and your furnace broke, let's say, and it's, 0 below outside, like it tends to get here super cold, and you just need someone out like now, which company do you think you're going to either call or maybe look into a little bit further? All right, go ahead and put it in the chat box. So I'm seeing mostly the same answer, but I am seeing another answer come up a little frequently too, but mostly everyone is saying B. Okay, so why did everyone say B, but yet we still had a couple people who said A? Well, the people who said A, I think, because it's number 1, right? Yeah, I'm looking in the chat box. So because it's number 1. But the reality is that's just something that we're kind of trained to, as SEO people, as internet marketers, we're kind of trained like, oh, well, we want to be number 1 in the search box, right? That's like the prime real estate. But with the 7-pack, if you can go after industries where there's not many people in it that have star ratings like this, you don't have to be number 1. So you can see this person here, they're number 2, they're in the B position, but they have this 4.6 star rating, which your eyes instantly jump to. So that's pretty cool, and I think that boosts conversions way up, and that's why most people, they think of that. So that's one thing right away. You want to remember that you don't have to be number 1. You don't even have to be in the top 3 even. If you go after these niches where there's not many people in the 7-pack that have these star ratings, you can just be in here anywhere, and you're pretty much going to dominate. So keep that in the back of your mind. Star ratings are one thing that I take into consideration. And I'll show you another example. I found this example earlier. I think it was in Cedarburg. And by the way, for those who don't know this, if you're not in the location, you notice I didn't type HVAC Oconomowoc to get these Oconomowoc results. In fact, I live in West Bend, Wisconsin. So I switched it up here underneath this search tool section right here. You just hit this thing here and then it'll let you switch your location. So that's what I tend to do when I search. And most people, it'll just pull their location in from their IP address. Okay, so here's another good example. Who are you going to look into further? Probably these guys, map marker D or map marker F. All right, and they're not in the top 3, but I guarantee you that they're probably taking 95% of the call volume, probably split between these two. Okay, so that's pretty cool, but that's not the example I wanted to show you. I think it was a dentist. No, chiropractor, I think it was. Yeah, chiropractor. So check this one out. This one's ranked at the bottom. See, so they're probably pulling in some leads as well from that. But anyways, just a few examples. We'll go back to my HVAC example in Oconomowoc. Oh, I'm not in Oconomowoc. Okay. If I can spell it. There we go. Okay, so right off the bat, first thing we look at, we analyze a star rating. I want to pick a 7-pack that doesn't have people saturated with star ratings. So my guidelines are, and you might want to write this down. If you guys don't have a notepad, you might want to grab one. My guidelines are, if there's more than like 4 people in the 7-pack, 3 or 4 with star ratings, I typically will just look at a different niche or a different location. Okay, so if there's more than like 3 or 4 people with star ratings in the 7-pack, typically look elsewhere. And it's not to say that I can't rank. I mean, the strategies that I teach will still rank you, but it's more work. It's more work to keep them ranked. And when you follow these guidelines that I'm going to lay out in today's webinar, like that star rating is the first one, you're going to virtually have no work once they're ranked. Okay, virtually nothing left to do. They'll just sit there. I've had clients I've ranked 2 years ago who I haven't touched again. They just still sit there. They still rank. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the questions quick. Yes, this is being recorded. How many stars do you need to have for the stars to show? So you mean how many reviews? The star ratings are from the reviews. So you need 5 reviews, and that'll trigger the star rating. So this person here has 4 reviews. You can see they're about to trigger the star rating if they get 1 more review. So 5 reviews. So when you're working with a client, you want to encourage them to get those 5 reviews if they don't have them, because this boosts conversion rates way up. Okay, you're going to see the call volume skyrocket. It's just a huge difference from not having it. So even if they have to get their friends and family members to leave them, reviews are hard to get. Here's my tip to you on reviews. Like I said, 5 reviews, not that hard to get. I mean, every business owner has like 5 friends or family members that can be nice and leave a review. But what I recommend that you do is tell your clients to spot everyone that comes into their location. Like if it's a dentist, they're coming in, but or if they're going out to a customer's house. Either way, tell them to spot everyone who they notice has an Android phone, or to just ask, what kind of phone do you have? Not so much iPhones, but with Android phones, the Google Maps app is built right into the phone, right? And the Maps app, guess what? It pulls these listings in from the map. It pulls these Google listings in from that app. So they can literally pull up, and people on Android devices, they use that for their GPS, right? Everyone uses their phone for their GPS nowadays. So they can actually go and pull up their Maps app on their Android phone, and they can just search, Pat's Heating and Air Conditioning, and their listing is going to pop up and allow them to leave a review straight from the phone. And the cool part is they don't have to worry about punching in account information or any of that, because when you set up your phone at the cell phone store, they automatically have to get you set up with a Gmail account or your Android account right away. So you're already signed in. It makes things like so easy. So just make sure they're not connected to Wi-Fi when they do that. That's the beauty of with the phone. It's always on a different IP address because their phone signals are connecting to the cell phone towers. Give me a 1 if that's an awesome tip that you guys didn't know or haven't been using. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's something we've been telling our clients to do, and it just works out great. Great way to avoid triggering filters. It's just awesome. Okay, cool. So from here, what would I do next? I've analyzed what I think is going to be a good niche here. You know, there's only one person in here with a star rating. And I mean, you could keep going and try to find a 7-pack that has no people with a star rating. There's just tons of them around. But this is fine. Let's say I wanted to go into this one. What would be my next step? My next step would probably be to take a look at their backlinking profile and also their citation profile. Okay, so the backlinks is just when another site links back to them. So we're just kind of going to see how many backlinks they have, what their profile looks like. Is there any backlinks that we might be able to go after for our client if we decide to work in this niche? So you might do this two different ways. You might do this after you already have a client and you just want to figure out why you're not ranking. Like if you just have a stubborn listing that just is not going anywhere. Or you might do this the smart way like I do, and you do this ahead of time before you even think about going into a niche. You do this all ahead of time so that you can basically pick out the easy low-hanging fruit industries and locations. So grab the website URL. You can pop into a tool like Majestic. This is majestic.com. And you can also use like Open Site Explorer or ahrefs.com. Those are alternatives. But I just like Majestic these days. That's what I've been using. And you want to make sure you put the HTTP www dot on the front of it, and then make sure there's like no / or anything after it. So it should look just like this. And then hit the orange search icon. And here's what we're looking at. So they've got 51 external backlinks, but that number really doesn't matter too much to me. That may sound like a lot, like, oh, wow, I've got to go get 51 backlinks. But here's the thing. There's only 13 referring domains, right? 13 referring domains. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that they have multiple backlinks on these domains. So, they might have like 51 backlinks, but obviously like 30 of them are coming from one site probably. Okay, so, or multiple sites, but regardless, 13 of them are referring domains. So we can actually go in, we can step in even further to see exactly which backlinks they have. We can go up here in the menu icon and we can look at the referring domains, and then we can look at the exact backlink pages. So since they have 51, I'm going to look at the referring domains first because there's going to be less to look at. Okay, so they have a backlink on this site, Jefferson Youth Sports, and I can open this site up and look at it. And chances are, this is a really good tip, is if your competitors have backlinks on these sites, chances are pretty good that you'll be able to get a backlink on those sites as well, right? Because a lot of times these people in the 7-packs, they're not hiring people like us to go and build backlinks for them. They're getting them naturally usually. And how are they doing that? Well, I'm guessing that this company probably just sponsored some kind of sports event, right? It's probably what happened. They're probably listed right here under the sponsors. So guess what? You could probably go and talk about sponsoring their youth sports and get a backlink, right? So this is what you want to do. You want to go through and analyze their backlinks. What is this? Here's just an association. Same thing. You can probably figure out how you can sponsor. Click here for sponsorship opportunities, right? And you can look on here. So looks like the sponsorship maybe is a little expensive, $300. So probably not something I would take up. I'd rather go buy an expired domain for that amount of money. But a lot of times these are like free sites. Like this one's oconomowoc.org, right? This is probably just their local chamber of commerce that they're listed in, which is probably free or next to nothing to get listed on. So that's just a little tip for you. Reverse engineer their backlinks, see what they're doing. And I find like 9 times out of 10, it's the case. They've only got like backlinks coming from 13 different referring domains. And I've seen it go like really little, like to as little as like 3 or 4. And we can just do another example. You guys want to see another example of another niche just to kind of see how this plays out? I'm not even sure. Do you guys have a search term and location you want me to look at? We'll just kind of go off the cuff here and just do it. Just put it in the chat box if you have a search term and a location you want me to look at. Okay, carpet cleaning Bel Air MD. Let's go with that one. Okay, I'm going to, there's no 7-pack popping up, so could be because I don't have my location set. Okay, so carpet cleaner has a 7-pack, but not carpet cleaning. And that changes. There's a lot of times where 7-packs won't pop up for certain search terms, and then the next day they will. So that's another thing you want to check before you hop into an industry. Make sure that they're actually popping up 7-packs. Okay, so let's just grab the top person here, extremecarpet.com, and let's just see what their backlinking profile looks like. So I'm going to punch it into Majestic here. Okay. I mean, it's just similar, see? 10 referring domains. Not bad, right? Let's take a look at the referring domains and see what they look like. Okay. So take a look here. Here's a Chamber of Commerce site I recognize right off the bat. Looks like anyways. So again, I mean, it just goes to show that you can reverse engineer what they're doing with their backlinks, and I could keep going. I could keep grabbing each one of these sites, making a list of the backlinks that they have and that sites that I think that I could get on as well. And I probably could come up with a list that is better than what this person has, than these 10 referring domains that they have, right? I'll probably come up with a list of like 15 of them, and I probably won't even need to like buy backlinks or buy expired domains or anything, because I'm already going to have a list that's just dominating what they have because I've gone and done my research. So this is just very, very basic stuff. And if I were to come in here and I were to see like, 500 referring domains, then that would be a red flag for me to stay away. I wouldn't want to compete in that. Not that I couldn't compete, but it's just going to be more frustrating for me. It's going to take more time. It's going to take more money. And it's just, I like to keep things easy and simple. Okay, so that's like number 2 thing that I do. So number one, check if there's a 7-pack. Number 2, check the amount of star ratings in the listing. Number 3, check out their backlinking profile. Do they have like 500 referring domains? And then stay away from it. But most of them are like this. They have like 10. So, all right, what's next? Next, we check out citations. Okay, so check out citations. So what you want to do is you want to enter in your location. So we can just go with this one. So we'll do carpet cleaner. And what was the location? Bel Air MD. Okay. All right. So there we go. So this is WhiteSpark, tool that I've used, working on developing something similar to this that we're using right now in-house. And I'd like to make it available to you guys soon. But for now, you guys have to stick with WhiteSpark. Still a great tool. But I'm working on one that's going to have like reporting features and stuff for white label reports that I think will be pretty cool. But it's a long ways out yet. So anyways, we're going to type in carpet cleaner, Bel Air, Maryland. We're going to hit search, and we're just going to analyze their citation profile now. So citation, similar to backlinks. And I just got kicked out of here, I think. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to redo that search. Okay, there we go. So sign me out. So citations are similar to backlinks in the fact that it's still like another site pointing back to yours or to your company. The difference with citations is it's simply the name, the address, and the phone number. And it's important that it's consistent all the way throughout, like whatever's on your plus page. Let me open up the plus page. Whatever's on your plus page for the name, whatever you punched in here, that's what you want your name to be on the citation, whatever you punched in for the address. And if you hid your address, you still want to use the full address, which, you know where that is located on your back end here. and then the phone number that you put on the account. So you want it to be the same. You want it to be consistent. If you just put DR for drive, then that's what you want to do on your citations too. So consistency is pretty important. I know a lot of people talk about consistency. It's definitely important. So make sure you do that. But what we do with WhiteSpark is we just reverse engineer what they're doing with citations. So here we go. We're going to hit on our search result that we just did. Okay, so it's only showing the 2 top ranking businesses right now for some reason. Normally it would show all of them, but maybe they're not seeing it since their system's coming out of Canada. I'm not sure. But at any rate, it could just be a bug or something. But we can still see what citation sources they have, how many they have. So this one has 44, this one has 119. So why does the number 1 person have only 44, outranking the person who has 119? Well, for one, it could be their backlinking profile, but it could also be, the importance of the citations that they have, because all citations aren't equal. There's citations that hold more importance than others. So you can check those out by actually viewing the sources, and they put together a nice little list for you that you can export. If you want, you can sort this by domain authority. So this is the Moz domain authority, which runs on a scale of 0 to 100. And the easiest way to think of the Moz domain authority is it's kind of like PageRank or PR. And PR runs on a scale of 0 to 10. So like 100 would be like a PR 10, 90 would be like a PR 9, 80 would be like a PR 8, so on and so forth. So obviously the ones that have the highest PR are going to be like or the highest domain authority. They're going to be your most important citations. Probably will be the ones that you want to go after first. So I normally export a list of these, and I'll look at everyone in the 7-pack and export a list of them, sort them out by order of importance, and obviously the more important ones I want to go after first. But again, if I saw something crazy in here, 100, I would say anywhere in between 100 and 300 citations is fine. Once you start to get over like 300, 400, 500 citations, you're in maybe a pretty competitive area. Anything under like 300, I think is fair game for me, because I outsource these citations to Fiverr, to someone on Fiverr. I can show you who it is. I know I've showed it before. I just come in here and I type in local directories, and it's this one right here is the one I use. And there's lots of other ones on there, maybe cheaper, but I've just been using this person for like 2 years now, and they've always done a good job for me. They have extras, so basically they'll do 45 listings in all for an extra $20, so that puts out $25. So in this area, the top one had only 44, but probably want to go after like 120 or so. So for around $75, you're going to have all of your citations knocked out without having to even worry about it. But of course, if you're on a budget, you can just do it yourself, or you can hire a VA off of like Odesk to manually do them for you too. But what's cool is this person will actually let you give them that exported CSV file, and then they'll go after those exact citations for you. Okay, so let's recap again. Number 1, make sure there's a 7-pack. Number 2, check out the star ratings. If there's more than like 4 star ratings on it, then might be too competitive, might be too much work for you to be worth it. So I might stay away. Number 3 is check out the backlinking profile with Majestic. And number 4, check out their citation profile. Okay. All right. Let me take some time to answer some questions now. Yes, there will be a replay. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Feel free to punch in some questions for me. Can I put the Fiverr link in the chat box? Sure. I'll put it in right now. Okay, someone says they used a cheaper person once on Fiverr and they were inconsistent with the name, address, and phone numbers. So, and the one I use is awesome. Okay, so there you have it. So be careful with who you use on Fiverr. This one is vetted. It's someone who knows what we're doing. It's someone who I've worked with quite a bit, and she just knows what's going on because we've all used her so much. Okay, can you have a lot of citations done at the same time? Very good question. So with backlinking, you have to kind of be concerned about the velocity of the backlinks coming in, right? You don't want to send too many backlinks in at once because then it looks like you manipulated something. I can't say the same thing is true with citations. I've come into a niche, I've blasted like 300 citations all in the same time frame, like within like a couple days, no problems. So I don't think that same thing holds true with citations. How much is it to use Majestic and Whitespark? So Majestic you can use for free for up to a certain point. Like I think they let you do a certain amount of searches every day or something like that. And then you have to subscribe, and I think it's like $40 a month if you want to do like unlimited searches or something like that. And Whitespark I think is like $20 a month, 19 or something like that. So I mean, they're not too bad, but they're definitely tools that, you know, I would recommend using because they just make things so much more efficient. I mean, yes, technically you could research citations without having Whitespark. Like you could grab their phone number, your competitor's phone number, copy it and paste it in a Google search. And, you know, it's going to give you a list of citations like Merchant Circle, B2BYellowPages.com, but it's like not consistent. Like there's 6,000 results that you're going to have to go through and look. Like this Who's Calling Me isn't a citation. That's just like a spam site that just lists everyone. So, you know, you'll have to go through and look because not all of these are going to have the name, the address, and the phone number. They might just be like this site just puts every possible phone number combination that they can think of on there, and then, you know, it pops up for Google searches. So you don't have to use those tools, but it makes things a lot easier. Okay, how do you get a Google Plus page to rank for more than one key phrase? That has to do with the website structure. So I can pull open my website structure here. So the way we do it, and you may have seen this structure before, you may have seen one that looks similar to it. I do slightly change my structures every once in a while as I test things. So if you're using one of the older structures, that's totally okay. They still work. But this is just kind of the latest one I've been playing with, and it's working out really well. So think of each arrow signifying a link to the next page, okay? And it all starts with your website structure. So your home page, which is this box right here, the gray box, you want to be your main Google Plus category. Like this is like the main thing you want to rank for. So that should be there. And each box is a separate page on your website or post, doesn't matter. And they should contain a 300 to 500 word article. Okay, so directly underneath the home page should go directly to your G Plus categories. Okay, so these should be your additional categories. If you don't have any more categories, then these should be like other search phrases that pop up 7-packs. Like think of this in order of importance. The most important keywords or key phrases you want towards the top of your silo. So you want those to go in like your orange boxes, or at least right under your orange box. So most important keywords to me are keywords that pop up 7-packs or Google Plus categories, right? Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do is rank in the 7-pack. So that's how I lay out my site, and then basically each page interlinks to the next one. And the way we wrap it all up is at the end of the silo here, we have a link on the last page coming back up to the home page. So what happens is the site never loses link juice. Link juice never leaves the site. It constantly is flowing throughout. So there's lots of silos out there. You know, we could probably spend a whole webinar talking just about silos, but in a nutshell, this is like the structure that I would use. This is the one that we do use. We have flipped this around, and instead of coming up to the home page up here, we've dropped this arrow to the first category silo. And in situations that works well too. But recently I've just been connecting it straight to the home page, which seems to work really well. Okay, so this is Google Maps. What do you charge a client for this? Yeah, so this is Google Maps, also known as Google Plus Local, also known as Google My Business, also previously known as Google Places. They can't make up their mind with what they want to call this platform. But yeah, essentially it's Google Maps. So we charge on average our client $1,000 per month. Okay, and that's just not average. It varies though. You know, we have clients that we bill only $500 a month, and it just varies. And there's lots of people and other students of mine who bill more than that. There was someone in my last coaching group who is billing $1,700 a month for one of his clients. So it's just going to vary. But basically, this is the business model in a nutshell, because with SEO, you always have to worry, well, what happens once you get them ranked on the first page, right? You get them ranked in the 7-pack, and then they decide, okay, well, I'm ranked already. I don't need you anymore, right? Well, this is what we do. We grab a generically branded domain name, and we build out an entirely separate website, okay? Entirely different. So, for example, and this is just an example listing here. This listing is not finished or anything, although it is ranking for some key phrases simply just because of optimization strategies I did while I was working on this. I use this one for examples. It's not finished by any means. But what I would do is, if I'm working with Waukesha Home Heating, for example, and they're my client, I'm not going to use their site, waukeshahomeheating.com, the one that's connected with their page now. Not going to use that site because they own that site. And once I get them ranked and do all this work for them, they can decide at any time, hey, Paul, we're ranked. I don't need you anymore. I'm not paying you $1,000 per month. So instead, what I do is I hop into, GoDaddy or whatever, and I just look for a generically branded domain. So if they're named waukeshahomeheating.com, I might just come up with Waukesha Reliable Heating Services.com or something. And this obviously could fit for any kind of contractor, but I think you get my point. You don't want to brand it to their name. Like, for example, Extreme Carpet Cleaning. If they have the domain extremecarpetcleaning.com, I don't want to go out and buy extremecarpetcleaning.net because they have that domain then. I mean, yeah, I can own it, but it really does me no good owning it. Instead, I want to go and find something like carpetcleaningprofessionals.com or baltimorecarpetcleaners.com or something like that. So the reason why is it's generic, and I can build out a website. I can still brand it to them. I can still have their logo on it. I can still have their pictures on it. But if they ever decide that they don't want to work with me anymore, it's as easy as coming into their plus page, hitting edit, and deleting this site from there. Boom, disconnected. And all the work that we put into their listing, to their site, it's just gonna de-rank them. So they're not gonna be ranking anymore. So that's the strategy we use. And technically what we tell them is, you're not paying us for ranking your listing. You're just leasing a website from us. You pay us $1,000 per month, lease that website from us. We'll guarantee you a positive ROI. And if ever you don't want to work with us anymore, that's fine. And you don't work with us anymore, and we keep our website, and you go along on your merry way. And we're done. We disconnect it from their plus page. We obviously can't own that because, we're using their address for that. Okay? Is that making sense, everyone? Give me one in the chat box if this is making sense. Yes, I will post a replay. We'll definitely post a replay. So I see people asking about addresses. You can't use PO boxes. You can definitely use virtual offices if you want. You can definitely use, if you want, this is obviously a little gray hat, but you can definitely use low-key mailbox rentals. I wouldn't recommend like UPS stores because everyone's doing that and people are catching on to that now, and Google's catching on to that now. But I have found low-key mailbox rentals in like storage facilities, laundromats, other lower-key pack and ship type places where they ship out your packages, and they definitely still work. But that would be, a little bit black hat. But if your customer doesn't have an address in the area, it's definitely a way to do that. You can also find people on Craigslist and offer to pay them to use their address. So that works too, or friends or family members' address. Whatever you need to do to get that address in the local area. Okay, cool. A lot of people saying great ideas, straightforward. Awesome. What if they already own the Google local page? Well, you're going to need to claim the page if they have it. And the way you do that is you just come into google.com/business from a new Gmail account. I would do this from. And I've already got a listing tied to here, so I'm going to have to go to this setting here. But you'll automatically land on this page here. select whether your business that you're working with is a service area or a storefront. You know, plumber versus like a dentist, obviously, is kind of what that's saying. And then basically type in your customer's thing, whatever it is. So phone number, address, either one works. Right, so here it is. Let's say this is my client and they already have the listing. Okay, so this one hasn't been verified yet. So I wanted to show you one that was already verified. Let me try to search a different one. Okay, so if they already own the listing, it's going to say someone else has verified it, and all you need to do is hit request admin rights, and an email is going to be sent to them letting them know that someone's trying to get access to it, and obviously that's you, and they just need to click the link to verify it, and then it'll be added to your dashboard so that when you visit that page again, the business page, it's going to show up. It'll show up here like this once you have access over it. Okay, just looking through more questions here. One other thing I might do before we get too off topic here, and I'm going to, we'll use the carpet cleaner example again. So those are pretty much the main strategies I use for reverse engineering. But there's one other strategy you can use. It's really optional, not extremely necessary. But you could take their website URL and come into a tool like, I don't know if it's pronounced Jux SEO or Jukes SEO, but it's JUXSEO.com. And basically you punch in their domain name, punch in their keyword, you know, of your competitor, and run a report. And this will just kind of give you a basic SEO report to just kind of let you know, if someone who's good at SEO has been working on the website or not, because then you kind of know what you're competing against. Are you competing against a business owner, or are you competing against someone who knows SEO and another SEO company? Because if you're competing against a business owner, chances are you're probably going to have a very easy time. So you can see they've been graded an F on their SEO report here. And this just goes through, it analyzes the title tags, analyzes if they have a robot.txt file, analyzes the descriptions, if it's too long, if they have H1 tags, if there are keywords in the H1 tags, have they bolded, italicized, and underlined their keywords, just the basic SEO stuff. Do they have an image with an alt tag with their keyword in it? Do they have links? What is their structure, the URL structure, like the permalinks? Do they have it set so that their permalinks are like crazy numbers, or is it keyword optimized? So this will help you kind of figure out who you're competing against with as well. So not necessary, if you do everything else but this, which is typically what I do, you'll be fine. But if you really want to take it a step further, you could do this too. And this would kind of outline what they're doing with their website, which is kind of helpful. Okay, I get $1 a month telephone numbers forwarded to my mobile number. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Otherwise, I just like to use Callfire, callfire.com, and I set up tracking numbers that way. Okay, can two businesses use the same address if they use a separate phone number? So good question. Like in the case of like a doctor's office, they can. Like they can have like two doctors be at the same address. But normally you want to do like a suite A or suite B on that address then. But it's very important that, you're not doing any shenanigans and that it's, legitimately two businesses. Otherwise you might run into trouble. Does the phone number on the website have to match the page and citations? Yes, absolutely. So if you're using a separate website, it's not going to matter because it's, their original website's not going to be connected to the page anymore. So that's not going to matter. And the other thing is, if you really need a way around it, you can just put their information into an image, and then Google can't crawl that. Yeah, once you have access to their page, you're going to pop in the verification or the Callfire tracking phone number. You just come and hit edit. You'll pop in the Callfire number right here, and you'll also pop in your website that you're going to build out for them here. And the citations do need to match. So let's talk about citations and them matching and that good stuff. So if you need to create new citations and you want to do it manually, hotfrog.com is a popular citation site. So I'll just illustrate it with this site. You just come in, it's going to say it's free, create your business profile. You hit add your business, punch in, the information, name, address. Remember, punch it in exactly as you punched it in on the listing page or exactly as they punched it in if they created it. Business phone, business email. And then keywords, if there's a keyword section, you should definitely have those keywords match whatever you have for your Google Plus categories. So whatever categories you punched in here, that should match your keywords here. Okay. I normally use the business owner's name for these accounts, and I'll use the email address that I use to claim the listing. And then you just create it, and that's it. Now, if they already have citations created and you need to go in and change the phone numbers and stuff, here's a merchant circle one. You normally see something like this. It's just going to say, is this your business? Claim your business. And you click it, and it basically bring you through the same process. You'll create an account, and then they'll let you edit it. So it's pretty straightforward. Every site's going to look different, though. You're dealing with 100 different citation sites or whatever, so not all going to be the same, but generally this is kind of how they're laid out. All right, I'm just going through more questions here. If the business has moved, you'll have to change the address. Rick's asking about that. You'll have to change the address right here. The problem is you're going to have to re-verify. That's going to trigger a re-verification. So that's the one thing that if you change, it's going to trigger a re-verification. Usually address verification too. So usually won't let you phone verify. Okay, once you add more directory listings, how long does it usually take you to see movement? So that depends, like how long it takes them to get indexed too. You can add in 25 citations, but if they're not all indexed, obviously that's going to slow the movement down on them. But usually anything that we do, any changes that we make, we usually typically see it takes about 2 weeks to see movement on it. About 1 to 2 weeks. Okay. Going through more questions here. Yes, you can use CallFire with the Google listing from the start. What if you're not in the US? Not a problem. We can go to google.com.au. Say you're in Australia. Let's just type in plumbing. Okay, that's not popping up a seven pack. I'm just trying to find something that'll pop up a 7-pack in Australia. I'm not too familiar with the Australian market, but it definitely works everywhere. There's map listings everywhere. So you'll have to do some research. I'm working with a client right now in Sweden too, but I have to copy and paste it because I don't speak Swedish. So that's actually quite a challenge. But there are 7-packs in other areas as well. I don't know why I can't find it in Australia right now, but just look around, try.ca and see what pops up there. Yeah, so for some reason, I don't know, maybe I need to go incognito or something on my Chrome browser, but there's definitely 7-packs. If you're in a different area, just check, before you go into a niche and make sure it's popping up a 7-pack. Okay, what am I saying about IP addresses using the smartphone and how important is that? Yeah, so it's important if you're going to leave reviews. I recommend trying to get your clients to do it, having their clients do it from their cell phones, because then it's not connected to like Wi-Fi. Make sure it's not, but it's not connected from Wi-Fi then, and it'll be coming from a different IP address, right? Because their phone's going to be on a different IP. So That's important. It won't filter out the review then. Okay, so if we are renting the site to the business owner, you said that our URL is connected to their Google Plus page. Yeah, that's right. So you would just come in and connect your URL here, and then if they ever stop paying you, you can just remove it. Right? If they decide they don't want to do business with you anymore, that's fine. You just remove it. And then all the work that you did to your site, you can take it and you can go work with a competitor. Oh, I see some people saying I needed to put in a city for Australia. We can try it just to see. We do like Plumber Brisbane and see what happens. Okay, yeah, so that's what it was. Okay, so there we go. So my search tools weren't set to a city, which is why it wasn't showing any 7-packs. But yeah, I mean, definitely shows up. 7-packs definitely show up in other countries too. Okay, I see several people asking about training. I mean, I do these webinar trainings all the time, but I also have coaching too. If you guys are interested in fast tracking this and getting up and going, I have a coaching group on the 15th actually, which I think is Monday. So if anyone's interested in coaching, we can definitely talk about that. Is anyone here interested in coaching? Give me one in the chat box if you are, and I can talk about that. And I can definitely answer more questions too. Okay, lots of ones. Yeah, so the deal with coaching is basically we work together in small groups once a week, and then we also work together one-on-one. So it's like a hybrid. So half the time you'll be working with me one-on-one, half the time you'll be working with me in small groups. And basically what we try to do is we rank a listing together to really get you comfortable with providing the service. And then we also help you get a client or two. Like that's my goal, is for you to land a client or two. And I mean, really how many you land is up to you and how much work you put into it. So, I mean, that's just my goal for you is to land a client or two. But, definitely some people won't land any because they don't do the work. And then some people will go and they'll land like 3 or 4 because they just are overachievers and they absolutely kill it. So, think about your initial goal before we even talk about coaching. What is your initial goal? What are you looking to accomplish? Like many people who come into the coaching program, many of my students, their initial goal is not to make like 6 figures. A lot of times their initial goal is to just land like 2 or 3 clients because they just need like 2,000 or 3,000 a month flowing in so that they can quit their job and focus on it full time. And if that's your goal, that's cool. I mean, think about that. How many paying clients do you need to quit your job or to at least get started at it, right? So that's kind of like the first thing you should think about. But I mean, if you're ready to get started on this now, I'd definitely be interested in signing you up for coaching. I'll give you the link to apply. It's incomealliance.org/apply. But before you go and apply, hear me out. I'll put this in the chat box. This isn't for everyone. This is a high-level coaching. It's meant for people who are, ready to take action now. This starts on the 15th. So that's like 3 days from now, right? It's the 12th. So yeah, that's like 3 days from now. So I mean, I'm not looking for someone who's ready to take action in a month from now or whatever. I'm looking for someone who's ready right now and they're ready to get started. You've got some seed capital to invest in this. Every business takes some money to start. So if you're down to your last dollar or whatever, it's just not going to work. Number one, I can't coach you for free. And number two, you're just not going to have any money to get started. It takes, $100 to $200 to get a listing ranked and to get started and to get clients flowing in. So you're going to need to have that. I will say that a lot of people come out of the coaching program, and the coaching program is expensive. It's not cheap. It's in the low 4-figure price range. But I can keep it affordable because I split it up into groups too. So, it's not like you're going to be paying 10 grand or anything crazy like that. But at the same time, this isn't like $100 product. So you should be aware of that. So anyways, I can show you some results and we'll take some more questions, but this is an email from the last group that we just did. I don't know if you guys can see this. I blurred out some stuff from the email that wasn't relevant, that was questions that he was asking. But he just finished up. I think I got this email yesterday. He just finished up yesterday the coaching, and keep in mind this is a 6-week program. And he said he's already landed and taken deposits from 3 new clients. Okay, 3 new clients, and he has 1 more coming in. And he says not bad for 6 weeks, right? And actually, it's only been 3 weeks because he didn't start trying to sell it until 3 weeks ago. All right, so this is just from the last group. I didn't ask him to email this. He's just telling me his results. And that's pretty awesome. This is why I do this stuff, because I love reading stuff like this. And, it's not going to be everyone. Not everyone's going to have that great of results, obviously, but this is one of them. Another email. I'll show you this one too. He was 5 weeks in on this email. So that video trick, the person who sent this, so that video trick from today's webinar just landed me a website building graphic design for $6,000 and a $1,700 a month SEO contract. Right? My average client's paying $1,000 per month. He went in on his first one, $1,700. How many people would that change your life to land a $6,000 job with $1,700 a month residual? Put a 1 in the chat box if that would change things for you. If that would give you the motivation to go out and land, 5 more of those. Okay, yeah, lots of 1s. So, average everyday people are doing this. Yeah, lots of people saying life changer. Yes, this is being recorded. So lots of people asking if this is being recorded. Yes, absolutely. Here's another one. This one, I don't think this one was in the last group. I think this one was in the group before last. So he followed up with me after it was over and said, so I just want to share with you what I've been doing since your course. I have a few clients that I've ranked and I'm getting paid on them monthly. Okay, few clients getting paid monthly. So that's just, what you can expect. This is the kind of things that we talk about in coaching. We work together to rank a listing so that you feel comfortable providing the service. And then we work together and try to land you some clients. I teach you exactly how I do it. I have a funnel that I build out with you that has clients coming to you rather than having to go cold call. So if you don't like cold calling, this is for you. Okay? This is definitely for you if you don't like cold calling, because the funnel has people coming to you, and it's just awesome. I hate cold calling, so that's why I set it up that way. Okay, so any questions that you guys have, either relating to what we talked about today or relating to coaching, feel free to pop it in. And I've only got spots for coaching. I've only got like a couple spots left. And we do start on the 15th. So like if you are going to do coaching or you're interested in doing coaching, I can't work with everyone, obviously. So I'm only going to pick out, a couple of people that I think are going to be successful with it. But if you are interested and you do want to be considered for it, I highly recommend you apply, no later than like tomorrow night, Saturday night, because, we're going to have to at least have Sunday to sign you up, because obviously Monday starts the coaching. And then I would need your 100% commitment from that point that you're going to focus 100% on the coaching, because, it's pretty intense. We spend 6 weeks going through it. And I just can't have someone that's jumping around, buying the next big promotion, the next big thing that's in their email box. Like, not going to work. You're not going to be successful with it, and not my ideal candidate if that's you. Okay, how do tracking numbers work, and won't they throw off citations? No, they won't throw off citations, because you're going to have to go in and edit the citation. So you'll go and find their citation and say, okay, this is his phone number. You'll claim the citation, and you'll go in and change the citation to your phone number. So that's exactly how it works. Okay, if they don't pay you, what if they lock you out of your Google Plus page? If they lock you up, you can contact Google support, and Google will remove it for you. You can tell them that they don't own the site. And actually, it'll actually suspend their listing. So if they do that to you, it would be very bad for them, because their listing would get suspended. Good question, though. Okay, do I have a written blueprint if you do the coaching? I have like a step-by-step checklist that I give all the coaching students. But in addition, I record all of our calls together. The group sessions, anyways, I record. Obviously, our one-on-one time I don't record, but the group sessions that we do in coaching, I record, and they last an hour long, each one of them, sometimes over an hour. And then I give you the video of that, so you have that forever to refer back to. Rob, I'll release this replay tonight since, like I said, I mean, if anyone does want to do coaching, they're going to need to be signed up by tomorrow night, or at least applying for it by tomorrow night, so that we have some time to sign them up for it because, like I said, it starts Monday. So, okay, Lori and Kathy are on. They're on the coaching group with me starting on Monday. Awesome. I'm so happy to have you guys. I remember talking to you both, and I'm excited to get started with you guys as well. And thanks for checking out the webinar tonight too. Hopefully you learned a lot on this one. But yeah, Laura and Kathy are jumping in on the coaching. They signed up with me maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. So if you're in, you'll be in with Laura and Kathy. All right, will I be doing this again next year? Yeah, I'll be doing this again next year. I mean, they last 6 weeks, so I typically try and do them every 6 weeks if I have the time for it. That being said, I mean, you need to think about how quickly you want to make a change. I mean, what's the difference between now and 6 weeks from now? You know, the difference is getting those results. Do you want to get the results now, or do you want to wait and get the results next year, or the next year after that, or the next year after that? So, you know, definitely there's some sacrifice to be made, but at the same time, it takes hard work and sacrifice to really get those results that you want. And definitely having a mentor is the way to go because, you know, you can save yourself years of headache, years of mistakes by having a mentor who's had that experience and, you know, has been there and has made those mistakes. You know, I've been doing this for 4 years full time now. I quit my job at Walmart. I was working part-time at Walmart 4 years ago, and I dropped out of college. I was going to school full-time to become a nurse, actually. And I picked up my first client back then, and I just knew, you know, and I didn't even have an expensive client, to be honest with you. It was like, I think they were paying me like $150 a month or something like that. The first real legitimate client I picked up. The reason why is because I wasn't confident in the ability to charge a lot, which is another mistake that you can avoid by doing coaching because I'm going to build up your confidence so that you are charging a lot. But yeah, I mean, that just changed my life. You know, that $150 client that was like a real legitimate client really changed my life because from that point forward, I just learned, I grew, I started charging more, and I quit school, quit work, and once I pursued this full time, things really blew up. After I sign a client, how long do they usually stay as a client? They stay as a client as long as they want to keep getting leads. I mean, I guarantee a positive ROI. So if they call up and complain, I look at their call tracking report, and if it's like extremely low, and I know like, okay, well, I can see why they'd be complaining. They're only getting, you know, 7 calls a month, and you know, they say that they've only gotten 3 calls that have turned into leads. So yeah, I could see why they're complaining. So then I look at it and say, okay, well, still they made $1,500, you know, off of those 3 clients. So how about we drop it to $497 per month? So I just work with them like that. I guarantee them a positive ROI. Rather than lose the client, I just drop the price. Okay, do I change citations if they stop paying me? That's really up to you. I typically do because, you know, I obviously have all the information handy. And although it's a time commitment and an investment to do that, it's well worth it because then you can use that for your new client, right? You could switch the site and the phone number over to the new client, and all of that work you put in, you know, is going to benefit the new client. So for me, it's worth it to do that. How do you find citations for Ireland? Whitespark should let you do that, I believe. Right here, Ireland. Use Whitespark. They have Ireland. They have every country. How long does it take to re-rank new customer on average using the already optimized website? Just depends. Usually like 2 or 3 weeks. Usually any changes that you make take Google about 2 weeks to recognize. So as quickly as you can get them done, Google will recognize them in about 2 weeks. Is the blueprint available without coaching? No, I don't have coaching available without coaching. So no, unfortunately. I mean, the one-on-one coaching I do is, something that might not be for everyone. I totally understand that. But if you're ready to make a change and get some results and, work with someone who's been doing this for a while and you just want to pick up some high-paying clients, then coaching is probably for you. And, if you're ready to act now. But again, we start on the 15th, which is Monday. So if you want to do this, you definitely want to apply for it before tomorrow night. How much is the coaching fee? That's something we would talk about once I decided you're a good fit for it or not. Not something I want to share publicly, because if fee is the only thing you're concerned with, then probably not a good fit either. But I will say, just so you know kind of what to expect, because I understand you might be concerned, whether you can afford it or not. It is in the low 4-figure price range, but it's not going to be anything like super crazy. So, and as you saw, this person definitely made their investment back within, the 6 weeks. This person too definitely made their investment back within the 6 weeks. This one too, I'm guessing. Few clients probably landed 4K per month doing that. Definitely made their investment back within the 6 weeks. So, that's how we do it. It's just, we get results. Do I accept repeat offenders? I'm not sure what you're asking about that. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm going through more questions. There's a ton of them in here. So if I miss your question, I'm sorry. It's the whole chat box is flooded. We got a lot of people on here still. In fact, I would say about 80% of you are still here, maybe even more. How do I invoice? Good question. So right now I'm using authorize.net primarily, which has like recurring billing built into it. So I typically just bill their credit card and send them a receipt. If I need to invoice, I use FreshBooks. And then, of course, I use PayPal sometimes too. I will post the replay today on the incomealliance.org blog. So right here, this is my new blog. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out. But I will post it. It'll be right here somewhere once I have it converted. I'll try to get it posted tonight since we're on a time crunch. When is my software coming out? I would say probably middle of next year. We've got another software that I've got the programmer working on. So we're trying to hustle and get it done, but it's just a long process and a lot to program. Should you set up a tracking number from the start? If you can, you definitely should, but sometimes that's not always an option. And Ken, I recognize that name. I think we've got an appointment set up for tomorrow, don't we? For Friday. So I'll be talking to you soon. No need to fill that out. All right, here's a good question. How many hours a week would be required if following the homework to a T? I would say like if you could dedicate 3 or 4 hours a week to completing the homework, you would be golden. And if you want to dedicate more, you'll probably have more results. So all right, I see a lot of duplicate questions coming in. Okay, good question here from David. He lives in Ireland and wants to know if he can still target a different country. You definitely can. In fact, I remember a student very specifically who was in Asia who he was a coaching student. He targeted New York and landed a plumber while he was working with me. So you could target anywhere you want. Doesn't matter where you are. That's the beauty of the funnel that I teach you how to set up in the program and that we set up together. Do I have a contract? I don't use contracts for the local stuff, only because, if they don't pay, we're talking about $1,000. So if they don't pay 1 month, rather than try to take them to small claims court and stuff and hire a lawyer and whatever, it's just not worth it. I'd rather just bite the bullet, lose $1,000 and call it a day, because it's not worth the stress. It's not worth the expenses to hire a lawyer and stuff. So yeah, I don't do contracts usually. Usually we'll just do an email and outline what I'm doing for them. Okay, what typical expenses? Great question. So the biggest expenses that come in are citations. If you choose to outsource them, you're looking at around, depending on the area, between $25 and $50. The other biggest expense that comes into play is article writing. You're building out a new website. Depending on how many pages you have, you're going to need like 300-word articles on each page. Probably going to run you around $50. So again, that just depends. So I would say if you had like between $100 and $200 to spend, you would be able to outsource the majority of it and save yourself a whole lot of time and headache, and you'd be really good to go. But you could get started for, just your hosting and do all the work yourself and have virtually not much expense at all. But that's just up to you and what you have available. Is the 7-pack service the only one I provide to my clients? No, I provide other services, and in coaching, we'll talk about a very specific funnel that I use to get those high-paying clients, a series of upsells that we go through. Easy upsells too. Other services I provide, reputation management, text message marketing, email marketing, stuff like that. All right, I see a lot of duplicate questions coming in. Other than that, I think we answered them all. So again, if I'm talking to you and you're willing to work hard, you've got some seed capital to invest in yourself and in your business, and you're looking to start on Monday, not a month from now, but Monday, then you should apply, and I'll look at your application, and if we're a good fit, I'll reach out to you and we'll talk more. incomealliance.org/apply. Only looking for serious action takers here. I want you to be the next success story that I post up on my next webinar like this, right? So I know I'm going to need an action taker. That's for sure. Okay. I see someone said that this isn't in the 7-pack. That's because this isn't finished. I haven't optimized this at all. I purely use it for an example on the webinars. If you look at the page, it's got no reviews, not many photos, and I don't even think the site has all the content put in it, or it's even siloed, I don't think. So that's why. Okay, cool. Well, I'll post this up tonight on the incomealliance.org blog. Again, if I'm resonating with you, apply before tomorrow night, or it's going to be too late. incomealliance.org/apply. Hope you guys enjoyed the webinar. Thanks for participating and asking questions. I appreciate that. Sorry if I missed any of your questions. There's a lot of people on here, and tons of people are asking the same questions, so it's kind of hard to filter through the ones that I've answered and not answered. So I'm sorry if I had missed it. But I'll catch you guys later, and I'll get this up as soon as I can.